Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Think Tank. Hope everyone had a great long weekend. Happy 4th of July. As we are now back in the office, obviously not myself yet, but I will be back tomorrow. Of course, still wanted to do the Think Tank and cover something that's super important, which is back to basics. And every now and then I give a quick refresher, but now more than ever, we do need to get back to basics, and your skill as well as your service really need to stand out. So in a shifting market, and shift is not crash, sorry, I have to just put out that disclaimer. This is a great opportunity. I promise you guys, all the top producing agents love this opportunity because when it gets a little tougher, when we have to actually work harder, when we have to prospect, when the phone stops ringing, we have to go make it ring. That's the opportunity where a lot of people get out of the business or can't survive. But for those of us that are seasoned, willing to do the hard work and really building a business, we will thrive. There's always an opportunity. For those of you that watch Jim Cramer, it's a bull market somewhere, right? There's always a bull market. But with that, guys, we have to get back to service and showing your skill. That's going to be the big differentiator for you. So let's start with some of the basics. And I know I'm a broken record, as it always goes back to follow up, right? We need to follow up to close opportunities. We need to follow up to create urgency with clients. We need to follow up to obviously close. Follow up is not a form of a drip campaign. That is a better touch than none, of course, but that is not the follow up that's needed. Technology has tried to disrupt our industry. There's been all this chatter and talk about, is this technology going to extinct realtors? Is that going to happen? And the answer is no. It is still a people business. So you cannot expect your drip campaign to convert your clients. Is it a great touch versus nothing? Absolutely. But you need to follow up now more than ever, right? Not a system, not a campaign, not some creative email, not your CRM, not your bot on your CRM. Needs to be you. So let's start with that and really differentiate yourself by following up and sticking along the life cycle of a buyer, right? Someone that's not ready to buy today doesn't mean they're not going to be ready in 6 months or 2 years. I don't know about you guys, but in 6 months or 2 years, I plan on being in the business. And in 6 months and 2 years, I will still have bills, right? So why not just work with them until they're ready? So follow up is number one. Number two is educating your clients. You want to set yourself apart and show your skill and your service as a differentiator. Educate your clients. People will stay with you if they see value in working with you, period. So people will stick with you if they feel that you're going to put them in the best position to write the biggest check they've written in their life. $500,000, $750,000, $250,000, whatever it should be, right? If they feel that you're the best person to help them and you're going to put them in the best position and you're giving them all the information they need, they will stick with you. When they know what's going on as well with the market, with the rates, all this chatter about the rates being high, we should stop that conversation, interrupt people, and just say, hey, for the last 30 years, the average interest rate was 7.78. So being at 6 or 5.75 is not a high interest rate. And that's true. Well, we can't commiserate with people and say, yeah, the rates doubled. Oh, the rates are so high, because we're setting them up to believe that they should wait. And instead of creating urgency, we're helping them believe that the rates are too high. It's not a good time to buy, which is nonsense, because the rate, again, for the last 30 years, if you look back, the average interest rate on mortgages was 7.78. So again, at 5.75 or 6% or 6.5%, we're still well below that. So we cannot commiserate. The more you educate people on that, the more you educate people on the market, the more you educate them on what happens with renting, guess what? You help them get to the point where they accept the market, accept the terms, and move forward a lot faster than waiting for a miracle, waiting for the perfect home, waiting for this magic crash, which isn't coming, waiting for all this stuff that just causes them to throw more money away renting, or even a move up buyer that's like, well, it's going to be a wash. I could sell my house for more, but it's going to cost me more, so I'll just wait. Well, what's happening is the rates will go up. So even waiting for a move up buyer isn't in their favor, because if the rates continue to go up, they're losing, right? And if prices go up, yes, they will get more for their house, but ultimately they're buying and probably taking a higher mortgage anyway, even if it's not a wash. So educating your clients gets them to stick with you, and also it helps create urgency and get them down the road a lot faster to a point where they're buying or selling, et cetera. No matter what it is, educate your clients. That is part of your value, right? That is your skill. That is the service, versus just any realtor can open the door, point out the obvious, which is a kitchen and a bath and a living room, et cetera. Any realtor can put a listing in the MLS, and they don't need someone for that. Guess what, guys? There are flat fee services that can do that. They need service. So as I mentioned before with follow-up, don't rely on auto emails. So even the automatic email listings that get sent from the MLSs, those are great. I still encourage them, do them for every buyer, but don't let that be the end all say all. Don't let that determine what your buyers are going to see. Well, they're on the auto emails, they're not responding. I guess they don't like anything, right? Don't let that be your only means of communication. Hey, I put them on the auto emails. They're getting an email every day. I noticed that they viewed it at 3 o'clock and they looked at it twice. Great. I know that they're engaged, and I'm not going to talk to them until they respond, because 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by, a month goes by, and next thing you know, you don't have rapport with them because it's been months and you're one of probably 2 or 3 agents that set them up on auto emails. So do not just rely on auto emails. Do not just rely on campaigns. You need to be that personal touch and point things out and say, hey, we need to look at this home, get back into the driver's seat of determining what the buyers look for. You cannot just allow it to go through auto emails. There needs to be human involvement for sales to be converted. So please don't just rely on auto emails. And last but not least is skill. I do this often in Cranford. When I talk to agents, what's your value proposition? And they'll tell me you work hard and you're going to communicate and all the obvious things that you should be doing, right? Literally, ask yourself, what's your value proposition? Pitch yourself, pitch a family member, pitch a friend, pitch whoever. But you can't say you're going to work hard, you're going to communicate, and you're going to work in their favor, because that's a given, one. And two, every agent is saying that. So you need to be able to interview for a position, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a seller. What is your value proposition? What's unique about you? Why should I hire you? Why should I work with you? There's 3 other realtors that have been in touch with me. I don't know who to go with. You need to be able to answer that. If you have a niche, double down on it. People should know what your specialty is. There are agents in different markets and different pockets of the state that we know they are the dominant player in this town, or they have a niche with new construction or whatever it is, right? Senior living, condo, like whatever it is, you need to double down on that. And people should know your value, your skill, what you're special at, and why they need to and should work with you. But you need to be able to articulate that. And if you can't, then what's the likelihood on a listing appointment you're going to be able to close? And if a buyer speaks to 3 or 4 realtors, why are they going to call you back if you're just the same as everyone else? So you do need to come up with your skills, because overall, guys, the market is what you make it. This is a great opportunity to really separate yourself from the other agents. There's always opportunity, and it's either you rise above the tide and people get attracted to you and referred to you, or you're going to have to prospect, do the heavy lifting, generate leads, and try to really build your business the harder way. But if you really show your skill set and show that you're different, you will create what I like to call as a magnet and attract people to you and drive the referrals in, and your phone will still ring. So work on that. You need to be the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, and not the Holiday Inn kind of service. But people need to know and see that. So evaluate your process, survey your clients, look back and be brutally honest. If you're not going to survey your clients, what would it have been like if you were the client on the other end for your last 3 transactions? What could you have done better? what service could you have raised? The level of service, sorry. What things can you add? What things should you do differently? So all of those things will really help you tune in and fine tune your service and your skill set and what makes you better, different, and separate you from other realtors so that you can do more business. Because now this is more important than everything else. It's not the auto emails, it's not the drip campaigns, it's your service. That's who they're hiring, that's who they want to work with, and that's what they have to see first. So lead with service and your skill, and you guys should do great. Any questions? Let me know. If not, I will see you guys on the next Think Tank. Take care.